What in damnation have you done?
You've destroyed him, and yet I hear the voice of innocence, begging for our forgiveness, asking for our help. You and I heard him the moment the High Templar fell, whispering inside my damn skull, his heart beating within my chest. Innocence protects us now, holds fast the door against the murderous tide that rushes to meet us. He wants you to pass through that door, to bring order to the chaos beyond. I don't understand any of this. Moments ago, I was just a soldier obeying his High Templar, Banon the Nobody. Now, my God lays inside my head, telling me to let you through that door and to make my way to Overseer's Tower, if it still stands. It does? All right. I don't know what's waiting for you out there, but should you survive it, I'll see you at Overseer's Tower.
You there.
You deserve recognition for what you have done. You've freed us from Templar oppression. Yet I fear you may have defeated the lesser of two evils. Still, take something. You'll be needing it in the dark times to come.
These is the most likely to have blockchain. Okay, I think like you'd think that Crimson would be the most likely, but I think that it's not. If I'm remembering right, I think the Viridian has the higher chance of having black. I'm gonna go Viridian and hope.
Once Kitava has gobbled up every scrap of Oriathan flesh, sucked every Oriathan bone dry of marrow, he'll turn his endless hunger to Namakanui and the whole Karui archipelago. As you know, the Karui will fight, and they'll fight hard, but they're going to need all the help they can get. And I know of 3 treasures that might just make the difference. They were taken when the Templar raided Namakanui. A whip woven of Hinekora's hair, a tooth that Tukohama ripped from his own mouth, a fishhook that was once the jawbone of Valakor. Together, they're known as Kitava's torments and lie within the reliquary that borders Oriath Square. I saw them with my own eyes when delivering messages to the scholars there. Please, go to the reliquary and claim those treasures before Kitava's children do. I can't yet begin to unpick the lies that Utula has told us, but this piece of truth I do have. Utula sensed that very moment when you struck your final blow, when you broke the Templar's power. He turned to me and told me this. Now our king comes to us. He'll be hungry, so very hungry. I shall prepare him a feast. Then he gathered his followers and left. Where's he gone? Oriath Square. You won't need directions. Just follow the screams.
Not bad.
Freedom comes to those who...
You can ask, but you might not like the answer. I told you so. What more need I say? The sign of purity, yes. A discry staff that piety sent me to study at one point. Apparently it was a gift from innocence to the first High Templar, Maxarius. Dominus couldn't even bear to touch the thing, so he had it locked up in the ossuary. Quite reactive behavior for a man of such formidable intellect. Yet now it's making a little more sense. The staff was certainly able to conduct and store energy, yet remained inert when I applied corruption to it. It must only respond to divine energy, and with corruption and divinity being diametrically opposed, it's no wonder that my experiments failed to excite the thing. Meaning, if the sign of purity is a repository for the power of innocence, Dominus could never have wielded it, being steeped as he was in the opposing power of the beast. You, though, you're a different matter entirely. People have talked about the return of the gods since the birth of Oriath. It's a gambit employed by charlatans to fleece the weak-minded and morally desperate. Or so it seemed. Avarius and his Templar drones now greet the dawn filled with power and glorious purpose. Kitava has risen from whatever ethereal cesspit he's been hiding in for the last few millennia. So what let the cats out of their proverbial bags? I'm a scholar, not a prophet. Yet there's one occurrence that absolutely reeks with evidential causality. You killed the beast. You really don't have a strong grip on cause and effect, do you? Things replace other things. It's the most fundamental of laws. The larger the thing you remove, the bigger the rush to fill the space that's left behind. Innocence was the nexus of power in Oriath. Remove him and something of equal or greater power was always going to take his spot. Any idiot could have predicted that Kitava was going to be that something. Unless, of course, you thought it was going to be you. Dominus adopted Chittis Cathedral as his personal laboratory. He decked it out with everything his miraculous mind could conceive of. His great work in San, that which you destroyed, it all began there. Farewell.
We're glad you made it. No, damn it all, that's just too strange to abide. I'm glad you made it. And innocence tells me I need to keep helping you. So that's what I'm going to do. I know my way around weapons and armor, and all things Templar if you should want for further enlightenment on that subject. As for innocence, I don't know. Sometimes he makes sense, other times he's a shattered god, but he'll heal. I'll make sure of that. Lani's told me a little about Utula and his cult of Kitava. Enough to know what Utula's got planned. Bring about the fall of one god so he can raise up one of his own. And this Kitava, from what fragments I can piece together from innocence, he's not the benevolent kind. Please, find Utula and stop him. I'm not saying this because I want to put innocence back on his divine throne. I'm saying this because Oriath is my home. It's made some mistakes, but it doesn't deserve the fate that Utula has in mind. I'm having a little trouble explaining it myself. I've never been the most devout of men, especially for a Templar, more of a soldier than a believer. But now, Innocence himself rests within me. His voice is weak, barely a whisper, yet still he has the power to keep us safe from Kitava's hunger. At least for now. For my part, I'm simply grateful. Grateful that I have a god watching my back, and grateful that he's given me the power to watch others in return. For a long time now, I thought my god's intentions were being twisted by his supposed servants. Did I speak up? No. The pyre would have been my only answer. I did what I was told and drew the lines of morality where I could. Now I understand the truth. It wasn't Innocence's intention being twisted. It was Innocence himself, perverted by the selfish convictions of the men and women who worshipped him. The god answers to the believer, as the believer answers to their god. The sign of purity. Let's see. A staff, bathed in innocent blood. No. Sorry, bathed in the blood of Innocence. Yes, Innocence gave a part of his divine self to the thing, and gifted it to the Templar. Now that I recall, I read a tome about it when I was a cadet. Bloody long time ago. I skipped most of the boring pages, so only remember the bit where High Templar Maxarius smote with flame the army of the faithless, with one ray of its hallowing light. The book's words, not mine. Outside of my humble flesh, the sign of purity is about all that's left of Innocence. Devotion should be honored, I suppose. For centuries now, the Templar have boiled the flesh and skin from the devout, and presented the polished remains for public appreciation in the ossuary. Personally, I think it's one of the better ways to remember those who have gone before us. To touch the bones is to remember neither the legend, the legacy, nor the lies. It reminds you that those bones belong to a man or woman who was just like any other man or woman. I'd be lying if I said my hands were clean of slavery's blood. I was a soldier. I went where Dominus ordered me to go. I sailed with the expedition to Namakanui, killed Karui warriors, and rounded up Karui captives like every other bastard in a Templar uniform. So I don't blame Lonnie for wanting to take back her freedom, and I don't blame her for believing Utula's lies either. I certainly swallowed enough of Dominus's falsities to sicken my soul. It's what we do now that matters. I can see that Lonnie's heart is in the right place, and for once in my damned life, so is mine. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't trust her. Yeah, I've got my reasons. Piety kept her work pretty quiet, but her results were brutally clear. The people she took, the people she changed. Slaves mostly, and a few enemies of God. Enemies of bloody Dominus, more like it. I don't go in for black and white definitions of good and evil, but with piety in her ilk, I make an exception. Whatever's lurking inside Violenta, it ain't good. Not by a long shot. Innocence blesses your journey.
Hello. Bannon claims that a god now lives inside his head and talks to him. What's more common, divine possession or insanity? I'll leave you to calculate the odds. Tootles.
Greetings. Bannon is unexpected. At least, he's not the sort of Templar that I'm used to dealing with. His ideas about innocence almost make sense to me. The way he worships innocence and receives such power in return, it's like his devotion actually brings out the best in his god. But how is that possible? A god is a god. They bless us and they punish us, not the other way around. Yet for Bannon, somehow it's different. The King's Feast is an ancient ritual born of less enlightened times. Long before the Karui followed the way, one tribe would conquer another and a feast would be prepared for the triumphant king. The main dishes of this feast were selected carefully for the sweetness of their nature and the tenderness of their flesh. You see, when the conquered fills the belly of the conqueror, two tribes become one. And that's what's happening out there in Theopolis right now. The tribe of Kitava is feeding upon the tribe of Oriath, and the feast won't end until two tribes become one. Remember what Utula said about Kitava? He is the tormented one, destined to rise up from the darkness, and we, his children, rise with him. It was there all along, in eyes too bright and smiles too wide. Cunning concealed by kindness. Conquest wearing the mask of freedom. I didn't see it because I was looking for something else. Hope. The cult only wanted what it's always wanted. To be born again in their father's image. They are Kitava's children, the first of his tribe. Unless you do something about it, they won't be the last.
Yes, what is it?
We live in interesting times, all right.
Alright. All of the lore. Head to the burned quartz so we can go and finish up this act. That little purple thing. Okay, I guess I picked up some wild wisps from something. Cultist over here. Cultist over here. Or cultist, please. He did not want to give me any cultists.
is the first step toward healing.
Come on, none of that. I need wild. Give me wild. At least there's some cultists here. Hey, alright. On cultists. Get to 100. Huh. Ah, stupid werewolves. I need cultists, damn you. Go spread your lycanthropy somewhere else. You are not a cultist. So I hate you. And we found you again. Why do we have a thing for you? We haven't finished your quest yet. We're not even close. Why do you have this over your head?
But it's time to expand our campaign against the King in the Mists. Key to his plans are countless ritualistic altars that he has built throughout the forest. These altars are nails hammered through 3 layers of meaning. Your world, the wild wood, and the void of the nameless. It is time we bent one of those nails. I task you with finding the King in the Mists during one of his rituals. Cause as much havoc as you can. A ritual disrupted, may cause far more damage than meets the eye. Return to me after you enact mayhem, and I will teach you further.
I see. So the requirement to unlock the second quest is to defeat innocence.
Yes. Let none stop you.
Alright, first, got the name. Keep wanting to call it Insanity Mirror, but I know it's not what it's called. First. Delirium. Delirium Mirror.
Farewell, innocence. And hello, my agent of anarchy. It appears I returned just in time for the party.
By the way, am I the only one who thought it was kind of weird that Delirium and the, what's it called? I think it started with a K. Oh, I'm gonna get a unique. Cool. I get 2 uniques. Nope. Just one. I got the Baron. Worthless for us, but that's a cool one. Requires a ton of strength to use, though. I think it's like 1,000, like 1,000 strength just to. Like just to make it that your like the damage your minions do like leeches life to you. Every like 500 strength, like an extra like skeleton or something.
I'm not up to that just yet.
I mean, I might actually do the, like, since we, like, we know we have access to the second quest now, I may actually do the flask thing I was talking about first. Like, before I go and grab all of the health and defenses. Might actually do the flask thing first. Because the flask thing... Like, the flask thing makes it that those two unique flasks that I have, like, those would perfectly pair together to make it that I always have Onslaught going, I'm always immune to chill and freeze, curses, and stun. Always have, like, a big damage buff going. Again, it's an all-around amazing upgrade for us if... Forget, is there...
Cities were always a form of madness.
Yeah, there's not.
Now it's just obvious.
Right. Get some cultists. Just vivid. Screw you guys. I think there were some cultists in there. Primal and Vivid. You jerks. Tried getting away from it. He godfathered me. And we'll head into... We'll head into the ossuary first. Then go after Tula. Then get... ossuary to Tula reliquary. Then after Katava. Go ossuary.
These bones should have been returned to nature.
What is your deal? I'm trying to do wild here. How am I supposed to find the thing if you just keep giving me vivid? Vivid and primal. Hey, Huntress. Got any interesting things?
Welcome.
Minions. I mean, that's actually pretty good for us because of... we're always phasing anyway. I think that puts us just short.
Greetings.
Yeah. Literally 4 short. Little bit of primal. Grab that. We got, yep. Have enough primal.
Hunter.
Tell me your thing.
Predators retain some of their ferocity in death. Meaning. I'm not up to that just yet. This energy, so hauntingly familiar, from long ago.
An empire is nothing more than a standard, pitched in the naked earth. The time has come for you to raise the standard, upon the peak of false faith, the apex of Chitta's cathedral. Drive it deep into that sacred stone. Mark the death of a faithless empire, and slay the slavering kingdom that seeks to consume it.
I can hardly hope for better results.
Alright. Go kill Tula. Conduit gloves. This isn't a charge build, so still not useful for us. Funny that we got two, like the last two uniques that we got were both for minion builds. Okay, here's a fountain. Where you at? Where is she? Always right next to the fountain. There you are. Alright. Find the Tula. Should be over here.
That just yet.
Nope, I was wrong. Gonna be down and up. There's a Tula right there.
Did you think our vengeance was done, Savior? Oh no, it has only begun.
I was happy to aid your rebellion, Utula, but not this.
Alright, let's find the reliquary. Then we can go after Katava. Let's go empty before we forward it all.
The High Priest is dead, yet the object of his devotion remains. There's no doubt you did all right bringing that man-turned-monster to heel, but you weren't able to stop him fishing his master out of a river of blood. Damn. Sorry. I never could get the hang of boosting morale. Didn't seem right to polish the edges off harsh facts. Probably why I never made captain. Still, I've been poking around here for a bit and have turned up Utula's stash. Quite the magpie he was. So here, help yourself. When it comes to hunting a god, I suppose every little bit helps.
None of this is useful to me. Grab that, I guess. And then we got enough of these that we can just go and putting the our unique tabs. These I'm gonna leave there. Grab those. Resistances on this one. And the one that has resistances technically isn't really a step up for us. $76. 2. Not really a step up anyway.
Hello. Remember, we do this for freedom. Yes? You've sent the traitor to meet his ancestors, have you? That'll be an interesting conversation. I'm no Hatungo, but I can foresee Utula walking a long road of trial and suffering before he earns himself a place at the ancestors' table. And just as Utula's journey continues, so does yours. Right into the jaws of Kitava. I don't profess to understand the mind of a god, but I know the stories. Kitava is patient. He waited in the darkest pit of Hinekore's realm. He will bide his time while his hunger spreads like the plague it is, and when his tribe is replenished 100 times over, Kitava will rise one final time to finish the feast that he has started. Oriath is merely the appetizer. There's a whole world out there for Kitava to taste. You've proved that you're a hero who can slay legends. Let's see if you can kill a god. Remember, we do this for freedom.
Hello.
Alright. Back to the reliquary. Okay. Give me cultist. Yeah. Got all them cultists. Look at that. That's a new one. Hello, abomination. I will have you. First time running into a unique in here. That was neat looking. Yeah, cultists. Gonna run into thing.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Got myself killed there. Do 3 of those. There we go. It wasn't the ritual. Making some progress on our cultists, though. Yeah. Do these have voice acting?
Tukohama, our father of war, and Valakor, father of storm, took Kitava to Hinekora, mother of death. They asked her to kill the greedy Kitava, for surely their tribe would starve if Kitava continued to live among them. But Hinekora refused, for death would not teach Kitava the lesson he needed to learn. Instead, Hinekora beat Kitava with a whip woven of her own hair. To Kitava, each strand was a searing lash, and so he wore thousands and thousands of blistering lashes across his back, as Hinekora drove him relentlessly into the darkest corner of the underworld. There she left him to suffer, without water or food, for the rest of eternity. And there Kitava remained, in the darkness of Hinekora's night-clad island.
That doesn't make sense. Like, are they saying that there's an, like, someone was actually narrating, like, every time we hear like a lore thing like being spoken, that we're actually hearing that person's voice? Like there's an actual narrator to each of these things. We're at 5. I don't know how long it's going to be until we're done with our Wildwood quests. But like, if I go for these now, and it might be like, you know, like 2 sets of levels before we actually reach the point where these come in useful. I forgot about this right here. Because of that one, I technically don't need this anymore. But this gets us moving. Technically, we just don't need here, but then we would... And technically, we want to have this before we do that. Because the flask that we want to use gives us onslaught. Do I just get the health? Get the health now, work on blast later. So much I could do with these points right now. Alright, the block. What about the block? So that comes first. The block and this life here. That gets us some evasion and armor. And with our next set, we'll work on the... After that, we'll... get these, those, are working on the flasks. Yeah, so now we're at 42% spell block.
not up to that just yet.
To replace the feast of birds that Kitava had greedily consumed, Tukohama, our father of war, and Valakor, father of storm, went fishing. Although Kitava was blind, he could still cast his line and feel when a fish took his bait. So, Tukohama and Valakor took him with them on Tukohama's mighty canoe. But while they fished, Kitava grew hungry and secretly ate all of their bait of grubs and worms. Disgusted and angry, Tukohama and Valakor decided to use Kitava as bait instead. Valakor used his own jawbone as a hook, impaled Kitava on it, and cast both into the sea. Kitava sank to the bottom of the sea. But instead of the fish eating Kitava, it was Kitava who ate all of the fish that nibbled at him, flesh, scales, guts, and all. When Tukohama and Valakor hauled a fat-bellied Kitava back up from the sea,
Yeah, so you can use that during combat. I'm not sure what happened before when I kept on trying to use that while fighting that like rare mob in the Wildwood. I just wouldn't use the skill.
the Moon was preparing for a feast to celebrate Tukohama's return from his war on the first ones of the Ezamites. Tafor, son of the forest, asked each of the birds to sacrifice one of their kind for the feast. He gave these offerings to Arohongui, who cooked them in a great firestone pit. Seeing all of those plump birds cooking made Kitava very hungry, and he offered to watch them, to make sure they didn't burn while Arohongui rested during the heat of the day. Arohongui thanked Kitava for his kindness, but while she slept, Kitava ate the cooking birds, flesh, bones, gizzards and all. Upon waking, Arohongui was furious to find that Kitava had lied to her, for saying that he would watch the birds when he truly intended to eat them all up. When Tukohama arrived home in his mighty canoe, Arohongui asked him to punish Kitava for his selfish gluttony. Tukohama, our father of war, agreed and pulled the sharpest tooth from his own mouth. He then asked Arohongui and Tafor to hold Kitava fast while he cut Kitava's face with the tooth. 2 slashes that blinded Kitava and formed a bleeding cross upon.
I'm not up to that just yet.
I'm here to serve as best. Don't ever give up.
Not all slaves believe Dutula's lies. Some I know have managed to steal a ship and are soon to set sail for Namakanui. Hopefully, with these treasures on board, Valakor will bless their voyage and breathe deeply into their sails. No, I'm not going with them. I helped bring this curse down upon Oriath, so I'll help save what little there is left to save. Here, take something, in thanks for your part in preserving the Karui Way.
Hello.
What do you need?
All right. All that's left is to take on Kataba. Finally, 20% there. Werewolves this way. Okay, to the rooftop we go. Fence everywhere we turn. Gonna be a different etching, or can you run into the same one?
I will never sleep again. My fellow journeymen lie twisted on the path, their faces forever locked in pale, silent screams. She screamed. She screamed! I felt it in my soul. My fellows, they died in agony. But
Okay. This is the same one. Unless they all have that little, I had a small dagger line.
Welcome. Welcome. Trust the wisps.
more cultists for fun. Tava probably count. What that? Tava probably counts as a demon, right? I mean, he counts as a humanoid. That'll be some bullshit.
That would only slow me down. I'm not up to that just yet.
not let you consume this world!
Alright. This is the end of part 1. The part 1 and the end of my regular updates for this league.
The flame of hope may flicker, but it cannot be extinguished. There is no shame in falling to a god. Shame lies only in refusing to rise again. You shall soar. That much I'm permitted to foresee. You shall ascend to the peak of your loftiest mistake, and from there you shall pluck a single surviving hope from the jaws of immortal despair. A ship sails for Lion Eye's Watch not far from here. Be on it.
Need to hone my skills. I'll have another shot before everything's gone.
Have the last of our lore and then finish up.
You're still alive. So is Kitava. What more do you need to know? You'll find a way. I believe it. For freedom.
Kitava is a primal deity, forged from the most fundamental of human desires, hunger. The simple act of craving that which we cannot yet consume. To defeat Kitava is to squeeze the very heart of human nature into stillness. You don't think you can do that? I suppose we'll see, won't we? Tootles.
I don't ask this in the name of innocence. He understands now the folly his devotees have wrought upon this world. I ask in the name of Oriath. There are many that deserve what Kitava offers, and there are many more who do not. Put an end to Kitava's savage reign, for there remains much in this land that is worth saving. innocence forgives you.
Freedom comes to those.
I mean, the minor increase in damage isn't worth the loss of all of those resistances.
Yes? Remember, we do this for freedom.
I'm Captain Lily Roth, and we sail for Wraith. Better to live in exile than die on this psychotic bonfire of an island. You want to make it out of here, you'd better get on board. But make it quick, 'cause I ain't got time for tears and regrets. Remember, this ain't no charity run. You owe me. Cast off!
Alright. Now before we leave off, do one more RP update. So after fighting our way through the land of Wraith, defeating the beast and taking on the god of hunger himself, we finally revealed our true nature through the curse of the Hungering One. Have achieved our final status as a true Wraith and Shade. Thanks everybody for stopping by and checking out my playthrough. If you've been enjoying on here, then I appreciate doing all YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. I've got a lot of content upcoming for the next month. I'm going to be continuing on our Octopath 2 playthrough, and I'm going to be putting together a variety of content for the launch of Last Epoch. I'm gonna have 5 builds, a bunch of different guides for different things. A few discussion topics regarding some of the fundamental differences between Path of Exile and Last Epoch, and why some may find Last Epoch to be an easier hopping on point than Path of Exile. And over time, I'll be working on my lore archive videos to update my playlist for Path of Exile lore, as well as continuing on, not the same way that I do normally with my Act 1 through 5 playthroughs, because normally with those I try to do everything in a single act, not a single act, in a single session. But for Acts 6 through 10, I'm just going to be playing like an hour or two per week, and so however far I get in that time is as much as going to be in each of those sessions. And since I'm getting all of the lore, there's not going to be much progress in each of those. But going to be it for our regular updates here. Thanks so much for checking me out. Y'all have a great day. Ray Victus, Bars of Damaris, and bye.